Just in time.
I get it now. You had me called away for one reason, so you could ambush Kenny. And then you were planning to pin the blame on me, in order to try and split Toman in half. Tell me, who tricked you into doing this, Pan?
Mikey gets off his bike and realizes he was called somewhere else so that Pan can be with Ken and break Toman, but wonders who tricked him into doing that. Sujiro reveals himself and introduces himself as the temporary leader of Mobius. Mikey attempts to kick him in the head, but Sujiro manages to block it. Sujiro reveals that they intended to destroy Toman by having them fight internally, but this is also fine as he can kill Mikey with his own two hands. Sujiro. He calls 100 Mobius members and warns them not to run or he will chase them and beat out all of their teeth. Takemichi realizes that he changed the events, and a new conflict arises as Mobius prepares to fight the 4 members of Toman. The rest of Toman arrives on bikes, ready for a fight.
It's about time. I've been waiting for the big showdown forever.
Of course you came.
Alright, all you jackasses. The Tokyo Manji Gang is here now.
So who wants to die first?
Hey! You're the one I want to kill.
Looks like the party's about to get started now.
As the fight starts,
Asshole!
What are you doing just standing there? You're wussing out already?
Takemichi goes around looking for Ken, wishing to protect him from Masataka. While beating down Mobius members, Mikey approaches Pan and asks him why he attacked Kent, even though they have settled things down. Pan doesn't accept that Toman has given up on Paw and starts punching Mikey. Pan knows that Mikey can beat him in a single hit, but he wonders why he isn't fighting. Mikey pulls Pan's head towards his and tells him to look at him and if he ever smiled about Paw getting caught. Mikey asks Pan to keep hitting him until he is satisfied, but he doesn't want to fight with his own family and wishes Pan to return to them. Takemichi eventually spots Masataka and decides to stop him, but then sees that he holds a bloody blade while repeating what he did. Takemichi finds Ken's stab and informs Mikey, who attempts to get to Ken, but Sujiro gets in his way and engages Mikey in a fight. Seeing Ken is still alive, Takemichi puts him on his back and tries to carry him to a hospital. Hinata and Emma see him and inform him that they have called for an ambulance. While waiting for the ambulance, Takemichi sees Masataka and his gang approaching. Takemichi gets scared. Ken awakens, thanks him for helping him, and tells him to take Hinata and Emma and run. He goes to Masataka and states that he isn't running away and is getting his revenge. Takemichi attempts to punch Masataka. However, he stabs him in the arm, stating that this isn't a one-and-on but an execution. Takemichi attempts to hit Masataka, but he knocks him back. Takemichi then tackles Masataka and bites him as Masataka hits him, trying to make him let go. Takemichi manages to get on his back and starts choking him as he doesn't let go of Masataka. Eventually loses consciousness and Takemichi wins. Masataka gang attacked, but moments before they reach Takemichi and Ken, Akkun comes out and punches one of them, making him drop his knife. Makoto, Takuya, and Yamagishi also come out and stand in front of Ken and Takemichi. They start fighting Masataka's group, but are easily beaten up. Hearing the sirens, Masataka again decide to run, leaving Masataka behind. Hinata and Emma led the medics to Takemichi and Ken. Meanwhile, Toman's allies manage to beat Mobius, with only Mikey and Sujiro still fighting. Sujiro is impressed by Mikey. Stamina permitting, a man comes to pick up Sujiro as the cops are coming while everyone is running. Sujiro tells Mikey that he is about to witness the creation of the most sinister biker gang alliance in Kanto Valhalla and reintroduces himself as the first vice commander of Valhalla. Ken thanks Takemichi for saving his life and tells him to take care of Mikey. In that moment, he goes into cardiac arrest and the doctors start to give him CPR. They reach the hospital and immediately take him to the operation room. One by one, Takemichi's friends and Toman members arrive Mikey. He tells them that Ken is a man of his word, and he promised him that they would rule the world together. Thus, he won't die, and they need to believe in him. As the operation ends, the doctors come out and inform the group that the operation was a success and Ken is alive. They head out to tell the rest about Ken. However, he states that Pan means he cannot face them. Takashi tells him that they know he did it for Paul's sake, but the one who was thinking the most about Pot was. Ken learns that Pan agrees to apologize to everyone. Going outside the hospital, Takemichi realizes it's past midnight and it's August 4th, which means Ken died on August 3rd and his mission was a success. The rumors of the fight have brought more rumors, and Takemichi has become a legend for stopping the fight. As he enjoys his newfound fame, he doesn't want to go back to the present. He goes to visit Ken but ends up being scolded for how lame he looks and acts. Ken hands Takemichi the uniform and states that it is from Mikey and that it belonged to him when he first formed Toman. Takemichi is free to decide if he wants to wear it, but Mikey wants Takemichi to have it as he saved Toman. Ken then tells Takemichi to go see Mikey on the roof, where he probably sleeps. Going on the roof, Mikey wonders why you wanted to cause in a conflict with Interment and why he used Masataka to kill Ken. He finds it even more mysterious that Takemichi realized all that before anyone else and tried to stop it. Mikey wonders who Takemichi is. Takemichi tries to come up with an answer. Mikey mocks him for his lame outfit and thanks him for saving Ken. Takemichi decides it's time to return to the present. He goes to Hinata's place to see Nodo. Since he got Hinata into a mess, he tries to make up for it by giving her a 4-clover necklace. As Nodo shows up, Takemichi shakes his hand and returns to the present. He believes that since Ken is alive, Hisaki won't become number 2. Mikey won't change due to Ken's death. Akkun won't die, and Hinata won't get killed. As he returns to the present, he checks his phone but can't find Nodo in his contacts. He sees a notification reminder for a scheduled meeting in the salon and wonders what is going on at the salon. He finds Akkun working there and wonders if he became a hairstylist. Akkun states that he just started and is only an assistant. Takemichi gets happy that he manages to change the present. He then received a call from an unknown number and realized it was Nodo, who realized that Takemichi had changed the present and wanted to go see Hinata. As he rides in Noda's car, the latter tells him that the incident that killed Hinata will not occur in the current future. They arrive at Hinata's apartment with Takemichi, who is excited, saying that it is a dream come true. Suddenly nervous, he tells Nodo that he cannot see Hinata and that Nodo should visit her alone, as she does not know that he saved her, and they are now strangers to each other. As he prepares to return to his life, he bumps into a grown-up Hinata, who remarks that he shows up at the weirdest times. Eventually, back in Hinata's apartment, Nodo decides to leave, but Takemichi desperately begs him to stay as he is extremely nervous, and he outlasts Takemichi's reaction, remarking that he hasn't changed. Whilst Takemichi notices the 4-leaf clover necklace and out of nowhere, Nodo decides to bring the group elsewhere, as an attempt to lighten the atmosphere in the car is equally as awkward as in the apartment. Suddenly, Nodo is being called by the police. He decides to leave his car to Hinata and will come back for it tomorrow. Hinata decides to stop the car at a car park, and she asks Takemichi to walk with her. Hinata tells Takemichi that the park evokes memories, specifically of her, with someone she liked on Christmas Eve. Takemichi replies that he cannot believe that anyone would dump her, and Hinata, crying, wonders why she was dumped. Takemichi comes to realize that Hinata is talking about him. Overwhelmed with this information, he rushes to the bathroom, confused as his memories do not align with this information. As he walks out of the bathroom, he encounters a man who is surprised that Takemichi is not in the car, though he is confused at first upon seeing the man's hand tattoos. Takemichi realizes that the man is Sujiro and gets an uneasy feeling from this. He rushes to Hinata's car, where Hinata is sitting, just in time to see a car drive into it. Feeling horrified, Takemichi rushes towards the crash. The driver of the car turns out to be a gravely injured Akkun, who asks Takemichi why he is not in the car. Akkun says the same things as he did during his previous encounter with Takemichi in the future, wondering when things went wrong and how he came to fear Kazaki and his employers, Takemichi, who save everyone while Takemichi screams and despairs. As the events turned out the same, Akkun's car explodes, and Takemichi rushes to Hinata, who is still alive. As Takemichi attempts to get Hinata out from the car in order to escape the impending fire from the explosion, she thanks him. Hinata is gravely injured and has lost all feeling in her legs. Crying, Takemichi crawls into the car with Hubing Hinata and confesses that he has and will always love her. Feeling the approaching fire and not being pushed away by it, Takemichi smiles at him before the car explodes and implodes into flames. As the fire rages in front of him, Takemichi tries to save Hinata and find a future where she is alive, no matter how many attempts it takes. Respects towards her talking about "you froze and shed a tear," with Nodo crying in agony about Hinata's death. Nodo tells Takemichi that he researched Akkun, who was married and would have children in the future. In reaction to this, Takemichi wonders why Akkun still kills Hinata. Nodo concludes that Akkun's family was used to force him into doing it, as they are currently missing. Nodo asked about Akkun's last words, and upon hearing that they were the same as after a previous time leap, he says that their actions were in vain as they were unable to escape, and change the future. Takemichi tells him that he is wrong, as Ken's death must not have been the deciding factor in turning Tom evil. He concludes that they must get to the root of the problem and that Toman's ship must be destroyed. He will become the leader of Toman, and to do this later, Nodo contacts Takemichi and brings him to the Tokyo Detention Center, telling Takemichi that Ken is no longer in Toman but is not dead. Instead, he is on death row.
Take